Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I bring you a game of Age of Mythology retold. Spawning in the blue color, playing as Thor, your friend in mine. His name is State. His opponent today, a very terrifying individual indeed. In the red color, playing as Oranos. His name is Kimo. The map, Nile Shallows. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a game of the ages right now. We've got one of the players with arguably, one of the top players with arguably the most games ever played in Age of Mythology, let alone potentially also the most games played in Age of Mythology retold, versus one of the top players in Age of Mythology retold who's probably got the least amount of games played out of any of the top players in State. Kimo versus State. Mass games versus mass RTS knowledge. Who will come out on top? We've got S tier Thor versus S tier Oranos. Everything is busted. Everything is broken. And when everything's broken, nothing is. Guys, I'm here to tell you about State. State is... I'm just a big fan. I'm a fanboy of State. Here's my morning routine. Whenever I'm editing videos, making thumbnails, doing all the good stuff. I've always got State's Twitch on in the background. Very entertaining guy. He's sitting around saying, I got no idea what anything does. I don't know what this unit does. I don't know what this build order is. I don't know what this strategy is. I don't know anything. And then he just comes in and just kills everyone. Kimo, on the other hand, Kimo is just already just killing everyone just because he's that good. So two people who are just killing everyone going at each other in a very, very big way. I'm excited to see how... One, I'm excited to see how this matchup's going to go. And two, I'm excited to see if State can go toe-to-toe with one of the best. And if he can, I mean, he's just ready. He's just ready. He's ready to show the world what he's made of. Nonetheless, temple coming up here for State on the bottom. As we do see the hippopotamus getting dragged through. He's also got himself a upgrade. Plus, he's now going to be getting himself that Hammer of Thunder. Did he? Wow, you get Hammer of Thunder here just by killing off 3 hippopotamus. You don't even have to kill your goats. Everyone thought that Thor was nerfed, but on Nile Shallows, very, very strong. Don't really need a whole lot more for that one there. But we'll see how it's going to go. Oceanus on the way here for Kimo. Kimo has yet to drop himself any of those juicy sky passages just yet. Any of those juicy sky passages. You can drop one over here. You can drop one over here. You can go anywhere on the map. You can move all the way up onto this spot. Drop one over here. Grab this gold mine. Leave the gold in his main base to do nothing. There's that sky passage coming down over on this right side of the map. So this is the big thing here for Oranos. Oranos, if you don't use sky passages as Oranos, you are not playing into Oranos' unique ability, and that's going to be a very big challenge for you. So we do see a cheeky little house coming up here. State might be able to spot this sky passage coming up. It does take 20 seconds to build it, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that much, but to put it into perspective, citizens grabbing 1.5 here. So in building up this sky passage, it takes you 20 times 1.5 in terms of how many resources you lose to get this up. So yes, Sky Passage is worth... Where is that citizen going? Sky Passage is only 5 favor, but it does cost you a tangible amount of resources to actually build it. So it's definitely not free. If anyone says it's free, they're lying to you, but it's still very, very cheap. Nonetheless, in the main base here for State, he is going through Freya. I really, really like Freya for Thor. I think Freya should be your stock standard 9 times out of 10. Depending on, I guess 9 times out of 10 is a lie. It depends on the matchup, right? The reason why I like Freya so much as Thor is because you get this Valkyrie, and with the Valkyrie comes scouting. And scouting is very, 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 very important here for Thor. If you don't know what your opponent is doing, doesn't matter that you've got the advantage of having full copper armor plus having a 4 dwarf lead in the game. It's just you're just going to be losing a lot of the time. So getting that Valkyrie out is a big deal. We are going to be seeing the Murmillo charging down and State's poor Berserk gets taken out here. All right. So, Mamilo. Scouting, schmouting. Just go Tyroids plus Hydra. True. Oh no. Kimo is too strong. This is one of the most bonkers strategies. Oh no. And this is something that I've learned the hard way. I've learned this the hard way playing Thor. And maybe State will learn now why we don't ever do this. Never ever run your Valkyrie in to harass a gold mine because you can get trapped on that mana, lose it, and now all of that advantage that I was talking about that State was going to get in this game from all that scouting is now gone. And now, in hindsight here, I was saying 9 out of 10 times, and then I said, depending on the matchup, I think against Oranos, you probably shouldn't go again. You probably should go for Forcetti. You probably should go for Forcetti. All right, Great Hall coming down. Longhouse coming down. Oh, State goes, no. I'm just going to delete. Reposition. It's the wrong spot. I like that. I like that longhouse here. You want to prevent those Mamilo from getting in onto this gold mine for the time being. Meanwhile, Village is back on this position. Nice wall over here as well. Good little defensive position where that's concerned. The wall isn't finished. It looks kind of like there's a gap here, doesn't it? That kind of looks like you can get through there. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Walls and retold. What can you do? They're a little bit... This is why I don't like walls. It's not because it's difficult to... It's not because they're bad. It's just because it's difficult to build them. Anyways. Longhouse coming down. And the units will be coming through here. When does State see this? He sees the Caladria. Oh, never mind. He has to bash down the wall. State can just run now. There he goes. He's nice and safe because we are now going to be seeing that bite of the shark coming through. Skadi on the way, though, already for State. Why is this so important? He's got this God Power sitting in the bank. It's going to be 3,000 gold in the Heroic Age. As Mamilo going to be charging through. Dwarves going to be a little bit idled. He can pull them back and jump onto those goats for the time being if he really wants to. Jump over onto this. Jump onto the wood lion here. Or whatever he really feels like. But now Kimo going for a second town center. And I don't know if you guys know State too well. I do. State is a big fan of one town center play. He is one of... Oh, no. Just wait. No, State. You were playing so well. I was so happy for you. Just wait like another 15 seconds. Get some more food. It's fine. Oh, dear. Nonetheless. Mamilo's going to be pulling back. We'll have some counter barracks coming up on this side. And where to next for State is the big question. He's going to be moving up to this spot. You can drop a big fat hill fort down here to try and defend this gold mine. And then maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of... It's not really that big of a problem here. But walls coming up here for State as he is playing an incredibly defensive game. Now, this is the thing, right? Is it the case? Now, I know it's the case for like Norse versus Egyptian, where if the Norse player just gets to full population, the Norse player can just beat pretty much every composition that the Egyptian player can make. But against Atlanta, I'm not sure how true that is. I do know that certain compositions can beat certain compositions, so it's more of a counter contest than anything else. But there's not going to be just like sit back, mash units, and then you win sort of kind of ideas against Atlantean here. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe there is. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Military barracks coming down over here. And Hyperion well and truly on the way here. Does Kimo have all of his armory upgrades is the big question. He's got now himself copper weapons, which is going to be a big help for him. On this side over here, we've got the the walls coming up. And now State going to be just looking for something to attack. The hard part about playing against Oranos is actually getting effective raids off against the Oranos player. But one thing you could probably do is just grab this town center. And he'd be completely fine. Starting to get that boom on, but State is going to be just going for as many dude arenas as he possibly can. As many dudes, build all the dudes, and go and kill your opponent. That's the game plan. He's getting ballistics. Oh no. Doesn't ballistics do things? The problem with ballistics when you're playing as Norse is you got Huntress Axe. You can just get this one. It's cheaper. 150 gold, 20 favor.
Yo.
That's cheaper. Let's get that for your throwing axeman. But I guess State doesn't really know what he's doing because that's what he says. And we have to believe him, right? We have to. Oh no, he used forest fire. Always believe the guy when he says he doesn't know what he's doing. Ballistics don't work on throwing axeman. There you go. It works on your Goatee, I guess. They are ranged soldiers. Why doesn't it work? It says that it works. Ranged soldier. It should work. Anyways. Kimo's Sky Passage. Under siege right now. Frost gets dropped down. Chaos gets dropped down as well. The units at the end of this will mostly all be still standing alive here as he is attempting to take down this forward base of Kimo. Kimo in a very, very good spot. Meanwhile, we've got the raiding cavalry going to be taking down the citizen here as well. As the Carnivora gets dropped down somewhere on the map, down on the bottom here to try and keep this stuff alive. Citizen manages to keep itself alive, jumping into that Sky Passage over there to boot. As the Citizen on the front going to slowly start getting taken out here. The units are going to be charging forward. And State going to be retreating back here for the time being. And it does look like State's army is doing incredibly well here against Kimo. He's got a little bit of an advantage in terms of army, and he's going after the villages really, really well. This is where State is best, when he's on the offensive here, as the units pushing for big shockwave coming through in an attempt to win this one. But those throwing axemen are going to get back to work immediately. Really, really important. Great micro there from State as well, as he's repositioning those throwing axemen mid-fight there. We do have those Satyr now in on the fight. Going to be a challenge to deal with those. Frost Giant is here. He's going to be able to get a huge amount of damage done as well, as Citizens on the bottom here getting sniped down to boot. But the army numbers here of Kimo are dropping in a big way. Galadriel gets sniped down. That one Satyr there with just a bare bones amount of HP. As we're going to be seeing the units retreating back, a whole bunch of raiding cavalry queued up. We've got the Frost Giant coming in as well. I'd love to see this technology burning pitch coming through for State, but he just does not have the resources just yet. Burning pitch affects those medium throwing axemen ever so slightly. Not ever so slightly, it very, very much so affects those throwing axemen there, as the unit's going to be pulling back up onto this side. We do see those dwarves getting a whole bunch of houses there as well, as State is starting to congregate on this position here. He does have a big, big advantage in terms of population here, but we are seeing raids just coming through over onto this position over here. Going to attempt to snipe down the Carnivora. Snipes down one Satyr there as well. As can he get this upgrade? It's not going to be coming in anytime soon. That ox cart needs to get repositioned over here. More Frost Giants are through, as the raiding cavalry are going to be searching around on this map for something to take out here, as State going to be thinking about he can push through and try and push off this gold mine. Kimo might want to consider just setting a citizen up here and putting a Sky Passage down, getting that gold mine going elsewhere on the map, as State pushing forward. Can he find the advantage here in this game with his military? Because he is very far behind on economy. This is where this is where the questions lie. When you're staying one town center, you've got to get that pressure on all over the place. Raiding Cavalry pushing forward. Going to see some villagers underneath the town center here. See some citizens down the bottom here. Going to be going after those. There are some very low HP citizen here for him to take out. Going to be sniping this one over here as we are seeing that the units now taking that fight on the center here. State's going to be very happy to take this fight while hitting those raids in the main base. Then he's going to bring those raiding cavalry back up onto this position to take down these units here as well, as we do now see the Throw and Axemen. They're going to be sieging up a storm. 4x versus buildings, ladies and gentlemen. That is a big bonus multiplier against those buildings there for those throwing axemen. Going to be able to absolutely tear through this position as the raiding cavalry hitting the sky passage over here. Units piling in onto this position here as Goaties, throwing axemen, raiding cavalry coming through. Big shockwave coming down there for Kimo as State is well and truly on the offensive here. It's taking out that Satyr over here. Nice little micro from Kimo getting into a very defensive position. But I think that Kimo, he has to retreat. Those Frost Giants are just way too big here, ladies and gentlemen. There are a handful of those Arcus heroes there. If State wants to micro onto those, then the Frost Giants are going to be able to just tear everything else up. Meanwhile, raiding cavalry still looking for villagers to kill over on that position there as the Throw and Axemen tear down the town center on the front. Kimo now down to one town center. He still has got himself a slight villager advantage here, but all of these buildings are going to be getting taken down incredibly quickly moving forward here. Dwarves, not dwarves, but citizens on the front here getting cleaned, and Kimo has got nothing left in the tank, ladies and gentlemen, as the army of State just continues to flow through onto this position. Arcus getting queued up, Contarius getting queued up, but the army of State just too powerful here. We've also got those Goaties in as well to deal with any sort of Satyr that might come through. And they're also not that bad in taking down normal units as well. They're doing 6 pierce damage per second. Compare that over to a Arcus that's doing 7.2 pierce per second. So they're actually pretty good at that as well. As in that moment, Kimo taps out. State the God Gamer. How is this guy not participating in every single Age of Mythology tournament, just taking everyone's lunch money? How is this guy not doing it? He is an absolute gamer. Kimo not cut out for it in this one. Thor too strong. State gets the dub. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider the follow on the Twitch. Make sure you check out Kimo and State on Twitch as well. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.